Tools to Live By, presented by Vaer. Vaer is spelled V-A-E-R, of course. Vaer watches. Chaz has his there. I have mine right here. Solar powered. I think this is called the DS4 is the model.
How long have we been on this? Vaer watches.
Well over a year.
Yeah, I've had this watch then well over a year, which I know is not a long time, unless you've had a lot of mid-tier priced watches that really junk out quicker than you can think. I don't want to name names here of any brands, but there are some bad watches out there in the what do these cost? $100? 150?
Couple hundred, yeah, two, depending on which model you get. I think these that we're wearing are about 200.
Yeah, $200. The $200 watch market is landmines of junk. This thing never once missed a tick.
No. And like you can bang it around, like mine
Oh, yeah.
doesn't have any scratches on it. It's a sapphire crystal. It's surgical grade steel that they use to make it, and waterproof, obviously guaranteed. But in case you had any questions about the durability, Vaer recently partnered with the North Shore Lifeguard Association, and they actually outfitted all the North Shore lifeguards, number one, to keep them, to provide a timepiece for them so that they can do their job, but also to get R&D, to get feedback from them on what ways to improve the strap or the, whatever component. And so I think that's super cool. Luke Shepardson, Eddie winner, wears the Vaer watch now.
Fantastic.
So if you want to save 15%, by the way, you go through our URL, which is /SurfSplendor. So Vaer watches /SurfSplendor. Also, we'll have some swag at the boardroom show in the weekend van. Pick up a Vaer sticker, maybe a t-shirt, depending on what they send me. But come check it out. Okay, DLS and Chaz, I need help. I have a brand new surfboard, period. Doesn't seem like a problem, right? How could that be a bad thing? Well, allow me to explain. I've had this board for over a month, brand new, custom made. It's everything and more than I'd envisioned when I ordered it. And here it wallows in my garage, unwaxed, thanks to the placid Pacific Ocean. In the past month of doldrums, I have surfed, but in subpar conditions. I looked at my new gloss polished blade and couldn't stand to christen her maiden voyage in subpar surf. But now we're a month in and I'm beyond antsy. Plus, new boards take a few sessions to dial in anyways, so maybe I should just take it out in junk just to get used to it, and then I'll be primed for the first proper autumn swell. Or maybe my surf-starved psychosis is making me irrational. I am so confused. Help! LJ NCM.
Guess who's here for you, LJ?
Chaz.
We are. Never, I don't think, maybe there's been one bit of bad advice coming from this program, but I think only one. I think everything is by the book, and when you practice it, you are guaranteed success. So here you go. I'm going to say I'm with you here. I understand this plight, and you hit it in the first sentence. I have a new surfboard. How could that be a problem? You're older now. You can buy surfboards for yourself. You get a surfboard, and of course they're still special, but they're less special than they were when you saw a surfboard under the Christmas tree. What would you do then? What would you do when you got that birthday surfboard? You knew that thing was it was priceless, right? So you would take your surfboard, or I would take my surfboard. I would so carefully wax it. I would put tail pad on, or really think about it, really move it around.
Yeah.
I would fondle and love up that surfboard on land for so long that it didn't ever really matter when I took it out, right? That eventually you do, and it doesn't matter. You're just going to paddle your surfboard no matter what. So that is my recommendation. This is my tool to live by. Go love up that surfboard. Really spend a youthful amount of time waxing. Heck, put a couple stickers on it. Put a sticker on your new surfboard. Really think about where you're going to place it. Get that tail pad exactly right, and then just froth down to the beach in nothing, because that's what you did as a kid. It'll
Totally
bring the joy back.
agree. And it's way too much pressure to put on the board to wait.
Yeah, you can't.
Every time you look on it, the anticipation that builds will ultimately create your you have to keep your expectations low, basically. And this is the opposite of that. Every time you look at it, expectation builds. So I think you're right. You have to just take it out day one, number one. And in fact, you think that you're honoring the board by trying to wait for good swell. It's dishonoring the board.
Yep.
The ultimate honor is that unfettered, unbridled passion that you are talking about. Just like, I'm going to molest you no matter what,
Yeah.
that's what
I'm going to touch you. I'm going to stroke your rails. There's a horror story potentially that goes along here with this if you wait too long. So I'm going to say this is probably 6 or 7 years ago now. 6 or 7 years ago, the wife was gifted a board, a high performance epic shortboard, a beautiful blade, to quote our dear listener, gorgeous. High performance. She wasn't in a high performance mood at the time. She was on I think I had just gotten her a new lost puddle jumper. So, and it was her first time on kind of a wider, when that was all really trending back then, wider, more foam forward, easier to paddle. You could still totally shred it. And so she was having a lot of fun on that thing, right? That brand new high performance surfboard sat there. It sat there. It is still sitting there 6 years later, having never even been waxed. Because I feel that there's a pull by date. If you're not going to surf a board after a certain amount of time, the something happens. Something happens to the board. Maybe the board says, you know what? You don't get to surf me, and just sits there forevermore.
It starts to yellow.
This board, never been ridden, never been waxed, yellowed.
Right. Yeah, that is a shame. That is a waste of tons of hard labor, resource, just down the drain.
Down the drain. But that's what might happen if you wait for the waves to dictate, or you wait for conditions to dictate you riding your board. Nope, you ride that board. You ride that board in whatever the conditions are.
Childlike exuberance is the answer here. Take that thing out tomorrow.
Froth it. I think we solved another problem.
Hate to tell you, LJ, you may have already waited too long.
I mean, possibly, because if you're taking that board off your rack and you're like trying to gin up emotion for it, you're like, oh yeah, I can't wait. The board knows that. The board feels that. That board is going to be you got to do it no matter what, but the board might already hate you.
The board and waves can never live up to your expectations at this point.
Yep, it's true.
So sorry, LJ, sucks for you, but this is great advice for everyone else out there. And thank you, Vaer Watches, for the support and keeping listeners styled.
Completely.